Howdy. It's another episode of Plugged In from YAA Electric. My name is Justin Fisher here in the YAA Electric Studios, aka my attic. How are you doing today, Justice?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. My cats have joined me today, so they may be
Oh,
walking across the camera. That'd be fine if they did, but yeah, they're staring at me right now. They're staring at me. It's kind of weird. But yeah, today we're going to be talking about Honda's three big announcements. Honda has announced three EV related big news things in the past month, I'd say, with two of them coming in the past week. Um, Sony's involved, Ohio's involved, and then there's a new model, which means that GM is involved. And they've dropped some not so elusive hints that they're looking to go away from the dealer model with their future EV sales. We'll dive into that. First, I'm going to kick it off with some interesting Ford news that just broke on Automotive News. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen because I haven't even had a chance to read all of this yet. This just was released like 20 minutes ago. Ford says Lincoln dealers who want to sell EVs are going to have to invest at least $900,000 to prepare their stores for EV sales. Now, that is 4 times as much as GM quoted Cadillac dealers to prepare for EV sales. That's a lot of money. I'm wondering, like I said, I haven't read this yet. It's brand new news right here. Breaking news. I'm wondering if they're offering them a buyout. Hmm.
I I bet they are. That number seems pretty high. It seems like they're sort of trying to discourage you from doing it, and then on the other hand, saying, "Hey, we'll buy it out if you don't want to."
Well, here are the details before we're reading this in real time. It says Lincoln is dividing its network of 650 stores into two camps based on the size of their market. Dealerships in the top 130 markets, so the top selling dealers, must spend roughly $900,000 to install two DC fast chargers and 7 level 2 chargers. Lincoln has 252 stores in those top selling markets, which account for 90% of its sales. Interesting. The remaining 400 stores in smaller markets, like the one I have here in my small town, we actually have a Lincoln dealer. Of course, they also sell Ford and something else, but they have to spend about $500,000 to install one DC charger and 4 level 2 chargers. You got to keep this in mind for everyone. Most of that money is going towards the DC fast charger because a level 2 charger, you can get that done for probably 3 grand, but a level 3 charger, DC fast charger, we're talking up to 350 kilowatt output. That is going to cost you, maybe $200,000-$300,000, at least the last I had seen. So that's where most of this money is going. Dealerships that make the investment required for their market will be allowed to sell an unlimited number of EVs. How nice of them. Oh,
They're allowed to sell an unlimited
that's what
amount
it says.
of a
Yeah.
vehicle that we can't produce in unlimited numbers.
And it says dealers have until December 15th of this year to make a decision on the EV certification program, which will run from 2024 until 2026. And then they're going to have another enrollment period from 2026 to early 2027. Yeah, enrollment periods. I'm sure dealers are not too happy about this, but it's the world we live in right now. It says those who choose not to opt in can maintain their franchise selling only gasoline models. Not sure how long that'll last, but I'm guessing it'll last well into the 2030s. Interesting stuff out of
Un-
Ford this morning.
until Ford just stops making
Yeah,
combustion vehicles, and then what's the dealer do then?
well, they've got about 12 years to decide because I'm guessing
Yeah.
Ford will be making combustion vehicles for light duty vehicles probably till about 2035. Quite interesting. Yeah. So, not really a surprise. GM made a similar announcement for Cadillac not too long ago, but Ford is requiring 4 times the investment for their luxury brand to go electric. So, pretty interesting stuff. And I think a lot of the dealers will just stick with gas, at least in my region. Oh, see, I have a different perspective than you do, Justice, because I live in what they call flyover country, and you live in
Hmm.
California, the home of EV sales.
Yeah, I live where they use terms like flyover country.
Yeah, exactly,
Um,
exactly.
yeah, sorry about that, guys. Um, yeah, I mean, here wouldn't up in the foothills you might find some, but even then, I drive to the Sierra Nevada mountains, and there's still a lot of EVs up there. So I think here it might be suicide to not upgrade. I think you have to in California.
Yep. Yep, I agree. And where I live, it's going to take a whole lot longer because of infrastructure prices. Median income is tens of thousands of dollars lower where I live than it is in, not to mention California, but even a state like North Carolina. Um, but we've got some good news coming on EV prices. I don't know. I got to add some qualifiers here because I'm quite confident I understand why the average transaction price for an EV went down by $1,500 in September, but it's not because there are more affordable options on the market. I think it is entirely due to one vehicle that has been ramping up sales post recall, and that is the Chevy Bolt. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up this article here in a minute. So, have you seen this data, Justice?
I haven't seen it yet. No.
Okay, cool. I think you guys are going to find this interesting. Won't spend too much time on it. We'll focus on the EV stuff. The overall market had a very slight decrease in new vehicle transaction prices last month, decreasing by literally $146 on average. So that's a 0.3% drop in the average transaction price. Not a big deal. But let's skip down to EVs, where there's a bit more good news, I'd say. In September, the average price paid for a new electric vehicle decreased by $1,162 or 1.8% compared to August. This is US sales, but was, of course, up about 10% year over year. EVs still cost on average about $65,000. That is a lot of money. I think that slight decrease, 1.8% decrease in EV prices, is due to what we've seen with GM ramping up Chevy Bolt sales once again. So over here at YAA, we keep track of electric vehicle sales and market share from every automaker. And you can see right here what I'm talking about. So the Q3 2022 numbers, look at that massive jump in GM's sales. Okay. Now, that's not all a bunch of GMC Hummer EVs, right? That's a very low production model. It's not all Cadillac Lyrics. They've only sold about 40 of them so far. This is mostly Chevy Bolts, and I think that is dragging down the average. That's good that we've got some more affordable EVs on the market, but they're Chevy Bolts, so they're good for around town. They're not great for cross-country travel because of the charging times. What's your take, Justice?
Yeah, I agree completely. It's once the Bolt had all the issues fixed and they went back to selling, I think that's what we're seeing. And I think next year we'll see some more of that with some of these other vehicles coming out. Um, Absolutely. It's good. I like that there's affordable options out there. Not everyone's going to be driving cross country. Actually, I think most people don't take long road trips. So, it's good to have an alternative vehicle out there that you can just drive every day and not have to worry about.
Yep, I agree. I agree. And I see we have quite a few people with us in the chat today. So good morning, everyone. Hello, Mark, Learning Fast, Dwayne, uh, Evan, Denise, John. Yep, good to see everyone here. All right. One more thing I wanted to bring up that does tie into the Honda theme today. It is the top 10 battery producers worldwide. Now, there's some really interesting trends we see in this data. It's via Clean Technica. Love their news and reporting. I'm going to go ahead and pull this up. All
Yeah,
right,
they're one of
Justice.
the ones I read pretty much every day. They're great reporting.
All right, let's dive in. Top 10 battery EV producers in the world. EV battery producers. CATL, look at how they dominate the market. CATL is based in China, okay? 34% of the EV battery market is dominated by CATL. And Justice, before you're asking, where's Tesla at on this list? I'm pretty sure they're in the other category, which you'll see highlighted in yellow because they're not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they get batteries from everywhere. They don't make a ton.
Number 2, LG Energy Solutions just announced this week a partnership with Honda to create a new battery production facility in Ohio, just southwest of Columbus, Ohio. 40 gigawatt hours of annual production capacity. We'll get into those details shortly. But let's quickly go through the rest of the list. BYD, another Chinese battery maker. Panasonic, they partner with Tesla and others to supply batteries to multiple automakers. Then there's the other category in fifth place. That would include Tesla and others who are ramping up battery production. SK Innovation. SK Innovation is building 2 battery facilities side by side in Georgia, right here in the United States of America. And they are supplying batteries largely to Hyundai and Kia. So that's pretty cool. Samsung SDI, they just announced a new massive battery plant in Indiana to supply batteries to Stellantis's electric ambitions. CALB. Okay, so the next 4 are all Chinese-based battery makers. So you get the theme I'm going with here. It's mostly Chinese-dominated. CALB, Guochuan, Sunwoda, and S-Volt, the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th largest battery makers in the world, are also Chinese-based companies. So that means we've got 4, 5, 6 out of 10 of the largest battery producers in the world are based in China. Not really a surprise for those of us who follow this industry, but it just shows what America's competition is up against right now when it comes to domestic battery production.
It's almost like if you have all the lithium mines, you have all the battery producers.
Yeah, and Justice, you and I have talked quite a bit about how China doesn't have most of the lithium in the world. They have most of the lithium mines. Yeah. Chile, Australia, those are countries that have a ton of lithium, but they don't have as many lithium mines.
Well, Australia is quickly releasing permits to build mines there. So we'll see how long this can keep up because they're getting there pretty fast now.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
And by the way, Mark, this is based off of gigawatt hours of battery production. So good question. Leon says, where are the materials coming from? Well, we just mentioned most of the mines are in China, so that's why you're going to see most of these producers in China. The regulatory process is not nearly as stiff in China, so they're able to just crank out mines as quickly as they want. But there are downsides to that, such as labor condition concerns and environmental concerns, water quality concerns, all of that stuff. So I'm not saying the U.S. should abandon its regulatory approval process. I do not think that should happen. I have a background in environmental science and have seen what happens when regulatory environmental permitting processes are kind of ignored, and it can get pretty nasty really fast. But that's just the reality we live in right now. Very interesting stuff.
Well, and out here in California, we look at things like how much water it's taking to produce these things and go, hey, there's water problems in half of the United States. So, those have to be figured out.
Yep. Totally agree. But shall we dive into Honda, Justice? Because there's plenty to talk about. And then before the show's over, let's talk about the Polestar 3, because I kind of agree with James. So, James, if you've got time, stick around. We'll talk about the Polestar 3 in about 15 minutes, maybe less. Honda. Let's talk Honda. I've got the Honda Prologue EV behind me. This is what it's actually going to look like. It's not the concept. Honda says that they're looking for a way to get around the dealer model with their new partnership with Sony. This is exciting. I had Sony PlayStation 1, I had a PlayStation 2, and then I became such a nerd that I actually stopped gaming and got into even nerdier things like science. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Sony, love their TVs. Well, they're going to make cars now, okay? They're going to make cars with Honda. I'm going to go ahead and pull up an article. Justice, if you want to just introduce to the world what their plan is while I get this pulled up.
Oh, yeah. So Honda's saying what we discussed the other day. They're moving into a software model. That's what they're saying. So that's their partnership with Sony for electric mobility. And, it's going to be, their models are going to be basically same hardware, different software on the trims. And they want to go to a reoccurring subscription model. That's what they say.
Yep, that is true. And it looks like, so here's the top line summary. Honda is going to be, let me get it pulled up. They're going to be focusing on creating a direct and persistent network with customers. That's what they said. They're also going to invite clients to take part in the product development process. So they're going to try to have personalized post-sales customer experiences. That means subscription services.
Yeah.
That's definitely what that means. But
Well, that's so does persistent.
yes,
That word is very important in that. So it's not going to be a buy it and drive it for the next 20 years and we never hear from you again.
exactly. Now let me get these numbers pulled up these quotes, because there are some interesting quotes embedded within Honda's announcement that really just kind of make it clear what they're trying to do here. Zach said he found this interesting. A quote from it. Retailing will be centered around online sales, following Honda's dabbling with the model in Japan. So various aftermarket and service plans are still under consideration. That's what Honda said. But they're going to be centering this around online sales. So if you want to
Yep.
buy a Sony branded EV in like 2026, you might just be able to go online and buy it like you can with a Tesla right now.
Yeah, but they also said these are going to be not mass produced. I thought that
True.
was interesting. So these are going to be luxury, top of the line vehicles, not mass produced,
Yeah.
which is interesting because it's three partnerships, right? You
Hmm.
got the GM Ultium, you got Sony, and you got Honda all building this vehicle together. I also found it interesting that they're going to build in the United States and export it to Japan.
That is a good
It's
point. Building it in America.
building in America and exporting it back home, exporting it out to Europe. So they want to make the US the number one hub for this vehicle.
Yes, but the 2026 time frame where they're looking to bring this vehicle to market, not to mention also bringing Honda branded fully electric vehicles to market, that is paired up nicely with the timeline that Honda has quoted for launching their own e-architecture platform. That's what they call it, e-architecture.
Mhm.
So I'm not sure that GM is involved with this at all. Have you seen that anywhere?
Yeah, they said they were going to be using the Ultium platform.
Wow.
So,
Oh, yep, I see it now. It
yeah.
says the project will leverage Honda's existing supply chain and current battery partners, including GM and LG Energy Solutions. So, yeah, Ultium battery platform. That's interesting because I know that the new partnership that Honda announced with LG Energy Solutions to build massive factories in Ohio, that was announced just this week, $4.4 billion of total investment in Ohio. That's good. That the end goal with that is to be able to create their own electric platform, that e-architecture system with LG Energy Solutions, and to eventually move away from the General Motors partnership. So interesting that they're still counting GM in on this process. I'm guessing they're going to need any batteries they can get, and they don't want to burn any
Yeah.
bridges too soon.
Yeah, I mean, this is only so order it in 2025, take delivery end of 2026, they said. So it's only, it's 3 years away. That I don't think they can move fast enough to get rid of the partnerships yet.
Yep, I agree. Partnerships are just getting started because the
Yeah.
Honda Prologue is going to be Honda's first fully electric vehicle to be sold in North America. As of this point, they've only had the Honda E, which is a 100-mile range urban mobility vehicle sold in Europe and probably Japan too, but I know it's definitely sold in Europe. So the Prologue is on the way, and that is going to be entirely powered by and manufactured by General Motors here in the United States.
For better or worse, whatever people think about that. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. And here is the pre-production concept of the Prologue, and we now know as of like 2 weeks ago what it's actually going to look like. This is the production-ready Prologue EV. It's a GM with the Honda label on
Yep.
it. I mean, it's basically going to be the Equinox EV with Honda badging.
Yep.
That's what it is. It's not. It's too soon to know if that's a good or bad thing because the Equinox EV is not powered by the same powertrain as the Chevy Bolt, right? The Chevy Bolt, that's 2016 technology.
Yeah.
GM's EVs going out today, including the Lyriq, the Hummer EV, the Equinox EV, the Silverado EV, they're all powered by a very future ready platform called the Ultium platform. So
Yeah,
I'd love to test drive this.
I was at the movies last night, and they actually had GM had an EV commercial on. So I don't watch a lot of TV, so I don't know if it's out there widely, but it was at the movie. It was very interesting. And they showed the Silverado a lot in that commercial,
Oh, that's cool.
so
I haven't
it
seen
was
that.
interesting to see. Yeah.
Yep, I can't help but
Mm.
wonder what price point they're gonna throw on the Prologue and the Sony Honda partnership EV, which is, I guess, gonna be the Sony Vision 2 concept brought to life because that's looking like what it would be. It's basically an electric crossover. I can pull up an image of that courtesy of Inside EVs, but I wonder what the price point is gonna be. I don't know.
I feel like the Sony is going to be over 80 at least, if
Yeah.
not 100. Just from the sort of the way they were talking about it, limited production, very customizable. I feel like you're probably going to get closer to 100 on it.
Yeah. It's It's sad. It's not surprising, but it's just sad because I really think that electrification is going to slow down. It's going to continue ramping up towards 15% adoption in the US in the next few years, maybe even 20% as those who can afford it go electric, but I think it's going to be really hampered by affordability. We need the Equinox EV, we need the Nissan Leaf to improve and not go away. We need the Chevy Bolt to improve, faster charging times, stay affordable. But we've seen it feels like all the best reveals in the past year have just been EVs that are going to
Wha-
cost north of 60 grand.
Yeah, yeah. And on that, I know we didn't talk about this, but I was looking at it. There's a program in California to help low income people get rid of their uh, gas guzzler and go into an EV or plug-in hybrid. And looking at the numbers, they give up to $9,500 grant for you to get into a new vehicle if you're in the right zip code and income level. And almost all the vehicles that I was looking at that have been awarded have been the Bolt.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, that's got to take $9,500 off of
It makes
a
it really
Bolt,
cheap.
and yeah, it becomes an affordable EV. So hopefully we see kind of those kind of programs out there for low income until people start making affordable EVs or wages catch up.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go ahead and share a related resource with everyone in the chat right now. It's called Desire. It's created by North Carolina um, State University's Clean Energy Technology Center, and it is the best search engine out there to find EV or solar power related incentives, no matter where you live in the United States. Okay, so whether it's California or West Virginia, where I'm at, you can find incentives not just at the state level, but at the local level to help make EVs or solar energy or anything that's cleaner technologies more affordable. So I dropped that into the chat. But yeah, interesting stuff. Let's talk about the Polestar 3 because we were talking about affordability. And I was really excited for this reveal. It was on like what, Wednesday?
Yeah,
Um
yeah, it was Wednesday. I watched it live. It made you miss Steve Jobs, or at least made you appreciate Steve Jobs and what he did.
it was a
It's
little
a hard
tough.
job.
Yeah.
It's a hard job. I'm not saying I could do better. I
Yeah, me
can't.
either.
But Steve had a magic to him.
Yep, I agree. So the Polestar 3, this had me excited because I was thinking, what if this ends up being like a $60,000 electric crossover that looks beautiful and qualifies for tax credits because it is going to be made in America? Nope, I was wrong. Um, 83,900 is the starting price tag for the Polestar 3. Now, it does look like it's worth a luxury price tag, but I guess what had me so surprised is that the Polestar 2 starts at just under 50 grand. So the Polestar 3 is a huge step up in luxury, but it's pretty awesome. But that price tag is just kind of sad.
Yeah,
Here's the
it's
interior.
a beautiful car, but the price tag has made it way unaffordable. I thought it was going to compete with the Model Y.
Me too. I thought they would want to compete with the Model Y,
Yeah,
but apparently they're not. You can get the optional performance package with all of the gold accents that Polestar has become known for. But what do you get for $84,000? Uh, you get 300 miles of range, and if you go for the performance package, you get 270 miles of range. That's decent. I don't have anything bad to say about that. As charging infrastructure improves, that's definitely going to be plenty of range. I think really anything over 240, 250 is going to be good with the future of infrastructure improving. Charging capabilities, decent. Dare I say good, but definitely not like class leading or anything. Polestar says that they can go from 10 to 80% in 30 minutes. We don't have a peak kilowatt output, but 10 to 80%, 30 minutes. Not bad. Definitely not bad. Um, my Ionic 5, though, can do the same in about 20 minutes. Hey, costs a lot
Yep.
less than that, though.
Yeah, a lot less. And similar range though, right?
Yeah, well, my Ionic 5 is EPA rated for 256 for all-wheel drive. Rear-wheel drive is 303 for the
Yeah.
Ionic 5. And the EV6 is a bit more aerodynamic, gets better range than the Ionic 5, but both of these cars start realistically around like $45,000 for the base trims. And I got a fully loaded one for $56,000 or so. So this is a whole different ballpark. I'm not willing to spend this much money, even if I could afford it. I guess I'd have to make like millions of dollars to afford this, but that's another topic for another day. Oh,
Yeah.
Justice, do you recall the things that we did not like about this reveal? The details, the safety features they announced.
I didn't understand a lot of what he was saying. So
That's true. Yeah,
um,
okay.
there were things that he was talking about the sensors in the headlights, but they're camera sensors in the headlights, and uh, yeah, they're just a lot of really weird sort of things that were presented oddly.
Interior radar.
Yeah, that's right. The interior radar. We're kind of getting used to some of that, but yeah,
Yeah,
I
they have
mean,
interior
nobody
radar.
wants all that on spying on you in your car all the time.
Yeah, let us know in the chat. Are you okay with interior facing radar to see like to make sure that you're paying attention and stuff? I think what they said the purpose of the interior radar was to make sure there are no pets or people left behind.
Yeah,
Like apparently what was it? It was something tragic. Like 900 kids die in the US every year from
yeah,
being left in cars. That's a lot. I would have thought it'd be
yeah.
like 100.
It was
900.
a very high, very tragic number, and I just don't. As a parent of two now fully grown children, um, I can tell you, I never once accidentally left my children in the car. I don't understand
Me either.
that thought. I mean, I was a restaurant worker, so I was tired. I was exhausted most of the time, and I still never forgot my children in the car. So for me, having a radar to tell me that the kids or the dog are in the car. First off, the dog is in my face most of the time if it's in the car. But yeah, I don't. That's not my thing. I don't like the cameras facing me either.
Yeah. They've got cameras too, so sorry,
Yeah,
Carol, in the chat. They've also got interior
yep.
facing cameras to monitor your eyes. So that's yeah. So sorry, they've got both. I should have mentioned that, but yep.
Yeah, yeah, they still have the camera. Like a lot of them have the cameras now, especially if they're doing the autonomous driving where they need you to still be paying attention to the road. So, we'll see. I don't like any of that.
Yeah. I don't want it, basically. I'm not super
Yeah.
against it because I think people should be able to choose, but I don't want it is
I
basically where
want
I'm at.
I want to be able to choose.
Yeah.
That is the point. Like, okay, tell me where the camera is so I can. There's some way for me to block it or shut it off.
Yeah, give me a Polestar 3 for like 70 grand, still too expensive. Give me one for like 70 grand without the interior radar, without the interior camera. I would give up some stuff if I could get a more affordable trim option, but they're starting it at 84 grand.
Yeah.
But they say it's going to have the capability to receive over the air updates to make it capable of level 3 autonomous driving, which right now only Mercedes-Benz offers level 3 and some roads in Europe. I know they were going to bring it to California. I don't know if that ever happened though. Level 3 means that you can actually take your eyes and hands off the wheel, eyes off the road for an extended period of time, and the car will alert you before you need to uh, put your attention back on driving. So, yeah.
Well, we did some level 5s in San Francisco. That worked out really well.
Oh yeah, but that didn't work out very well. No.
No.
No. So that's true, but yeah, it's a good question. I don't really
So,
know how that ties into what we're talking about. Those cruise vehicles, and what are the other operators of those autonomous cars that kind of crash into pedestrians and things like that?
yeah, I don't know though. I don't know all their names. There's quite a few of them. California allowed them in Los Angeles and San Francisco. Both
Mm.
cleared them. So there's I know there's the little robots that roam around LA delivering the Uber Eats food.
Oh yeah, that's
I had
true.
I had one of those run over my foot once. And it was
Yeah. It's easier to dodge a robot than to dodge a car, though.
yeah, they're like the little Star Wars trash can things that go around. So they're just about knee high
Yeah, they
carrying
say
your food.
whenever Justice, when you and I are old men, that might be who takes care of us in the nursing home is unfortunately going to be robots because there may not be enough people wanting to take care of us. So we'll see. We might be
That,
very intimate with that future.
I mean, I big, Star Trek nerd. So you say Android and I'm on board. Let's go. Let's talk about it. But I want something a little more advanced than what we have right now. Like one that
Yep.
can walk, not just one that they wheel out at a Tesla show and go, look, someday it'll be able to walk. I'd like to get a little farther beyond that.
Yep. Well, I'm going to wrap up this show with an interesting statistic for everyone. So, since the Inflation Reduction Act was signed into law in late August or early September, somewhere around that point, a total of $15 billion have been announced in battery investments here in the United States. So, new battery plants coming into America, whether it's SDI, Samsung over in Indiana, the new Honda LG Energy Solutions partnership announced in Ohio, or any of the others that were announced. I know there's been some in North Carolina and other states. $15 billion of US investments with regards to battery production. So
Yeah.
that's a lot of money, a lot of battery jobs coming to America, I guess. We'll see what comes of it, though.
And real fast on that note, Audi saying specifically the Inflation Reduction Act, they are looking to build their first U.S. manufacturing facility here because of that.
Yeah. So more
So,
money, more
yep.
American made EVs.
Love all the jobs moving forward through it. So,
Yeah.
no denying that.
Yep. And we will be back Monday. So, Justice, you have a great weekend. Everyone listening and watching us right now, thank you so much for being here. Have a wonderful weekend. Please like and subscribe if you haven't. That really helps us grow the channel. Yeah, we'll see what happens over the weekend, Justice, but you have a good day.
You as well. Bye, everybody.